Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com, and yet another elastics video. They seem to be very popular. I actually had this as a request. Someone reached out to me and said, hey, you don't really have a sequential distalization plus elastics video. And I was like, you're right, I don't. So I make it because that is my promise. As long as it's something that's relevant or within the scope of what we do at Straightsmile Solutions, if I don't have that content, I will make it for you for free and I'll post it. So, okay. Basically, in a nutshell, that's really up to you. And first of all, I really recommend that you do your own research. If you want to know how to do your own research, it's really not that hard. All you got to do is go to Google, put in 3 words, elastics, comma, Invisalign. Just say Invisalign because all the research is called Invisalign. It's not really called clear aligners. So, it's like a brand. Elastics, comma, Invisalign, comma, Overjet, or elastics, comma, Invisalign, comma, class 2, or something like that. And you can do it also with braces. You can look at it and take a look. I've got 2, also comma scholar. That's the most important thing. You have to put comma scholar in there. If you don't do that, then you're going to get all kinds of blogs and spammy articles. That way you actually get evidence-based research done. So a couple journals came up. I'm not going to read the whole thing. One of them is Journal of Dental Sciences, Volume 18, Issue 1, January 2023. Basically, title is Treatment of Class 2 Malocclusion with Invisalign Pilot Study Using CBCT. Basically, their conclusion, and I'm just reading this, digital model integrated CBCT superimpositions reflected actual treatment changes in comparison with virtual simulation. That means they're showing the Clincheck versus what actually happened with the CBCT. And it showed that ideal occlusion was not achieved in class 2 adult patients with Invisalign. Duh, I could tell you that, okay? You're not gonna fix class 2 with Invisalign, and you're really not gonna fix class 2 in adults with braces either. It's not happening. So can you do sequential distalization to improve it? Sure you can. Will you probably get what Invisalign says? Probably not. You have to look at all my content I have on sequential distalization. Remember, you don't want to run lots of things. Number 1, you don't want to run the molars. Remember, sequential is not en masse. Those are 2 different things, okay? Sequential is 1 tooth at a time. And obviously my simulation, if you watch these videos, is really silly because there's like 4 sets of molars and no premolars, but it kind of shows what sequential looks like. Sometimes I'm not able to show Clinchecks. Invisalign Align Technology gets upset when I post certain things and I haven't quite figured out what I can post and what I can't post because I don't work for them and they think it's their content, right? So I understand. They make their own educational platforms. They have their own classes. It's for profit. So my stuff doesn't benefit. Well, it benefits them because people do more Invisalign, right? But doesn't directly benefit them because I'm monetizing it. Well, barely, like pennies. And they're not. So, okay, we have a good symbiotic relationship, but I just try not to piss them off. So sorry, I can't show you a case. And that's why I really don't have an Invisalign course because I can't. Because Molus, Galler, and Reengage, they all work for Invisalign. It's built through Invisalign. They probably sign some crazy terms and conditions so that, they can profit off their namesake. I've refused to do that because I don't want to sell my soul to an aligner company because then I can't be open to saying what I want to say. So anyways, I've done that. I've had those offers before and I made mistakes. So I'm not doing that anymore. Anyways, I digress. So got to be careful. You don't want to run teeth into the tuberosity. You don't want to run lower teeth into the ramus. I've seen that happen. And sometimes the simulation doesn't really show that's going to happen. So you have to take PAs. You have to take panos. You have to check intraorally. If you start to see that tooth disappear under the gums, oopsies, you ran it into something. You got to back it out. Okay. So keep a close eye on them if you're going to do that. Number 2, anytime you're doing sequential distalization, it's backwards mechanics. Okay. Which is totally fine if the patient is like crazy crowded because especially if it's an adult, well, we can't go necessarily expand anyways. We can't necessarily procline anyways. We push teeth through the bone. It's either that or we do tons of IPR. Maybe the patient doesn't want to cut their teeth or we take out teeth. So at least with sequential distalization, it's a great way to eliminate crowding if there's no third molars without having to cut teeth or damage teeth or remove teeth. So, I'm definitely a fan of sequential for those kind of cases. The other thing you have to keep in mind that if you're doing sequential and there's no crowding, if you're only doing it for overjet, well, you're making the tongue space smaller. And the vast majority of class 2 patients a lot of them have OSA, and or myo issues, mouth breathing issues. So you don't want to make their parking garage for their tongue any smaller. This could be a liability for you later. And it's just starting to take off. Risk management, we're on autopsy reports, it's saying, OSA is the cause, sleep apnea is the cause of death. And it's happening more and more. This was never a thing before. So orthodontists never really thought about this before. Sure, we'll close it. We'll take out upper premolar. Sure, we'll close down this overjet. We'll make the profile look terrible. We'll dish in the face. We'll kill the lip, the upper lip position. We're going to make the space for the tongue smaller, which means it might not park at the top of the mouth, which means it might park down below, which means the patient might mouth breathe at night, which makes the lower jaw fall down and back, which makes the tongue fall down the back, which can put basically the morbidity, mortality higher, And orthodontists were not thinking about this 20 years ago when we were in school, for sure. It was always like, yes, correct the overjet. So now it's like, well, maybe that's not the right way to do it. Maybe it's not healthy. Maybe the risks outweigh the benefits. Maybe we should just think about straight teeth only plan and leaving the overjet. Sure, we can do a tiny bit of sequential distalization just to correct any crowding that's there. I'm cool with that, and leave the overjet. That way the tongue space is the same. I'm totally fine doing that. Let's maintain, we're not gonna make them worse. We're just gonna give them straight teeth. That's it, leave the overjet. If they want perfect, hey, go to the orthodontist who works with an oral surgeon, get worked up for orthodontic surgery. If you have OSA, quite often, if it is a savvy OMFS who works with orthodontists who do orthodontic surgery, it might not be covered by insurance. It might be fully covered by insurance, including the surgery. And you know what? This surgery is a day surgery. It is way less than breast implants. It is way less than most cosmetic procedures people get, in a day. It is minor stuff nowadays. Minor. It's not like it used to be. And if you can get it fully covered by insurance, that's where you guys are getting yourselves in trouble by like, yeah, I'm going to, close down this overjet. Once you do that, they can't get this surgery and you're trapping them with OSA for life. So if and when something happens to this patient and they find out OSA is the cause, I know I'm being hypothetical, but I want you guys to think about this. How well do you sleep at night for 20, 30, 40 years? Do you want to be doing cases that could come back to haunt you in a few decades or come back to haunt the livelihood of your family? Don't be dumb. Don't do this. If you're not sure and if you haven't fully screened them for OSA and myo, don't do that kind of treatment. Just straight teeth only, leave overjet, or refer out to ortho and let them manage it. And you know what? If they want to shut it down, well, it's on them. It's on them. Because remember, they are the specialists. And they're going to be able to defend themselves a lot better in the court with the dental board than you are. Okay? If you just decide to shut it down and you haven't done all these screenings, myo, OSA, and I'm just talking about OSA questionnaire, I'm saying like sleep test. Okay, if you're not doing that, you should never be shutting down a massive overjet case with elastics or sequential or anything like that. Okay, I really went off topic, but I had to say all that. So to answer your question, do you need elastics with your sequential distal? Okay, let's say there is a sequential distalization case. It's massive, no OSA, patient with super procline, like the upper incisors are like horizontal. Like they have to side back. Great, I'm super cool with that. In this situation, we screened them, no OSA, nothing like that, no myo issues, no mouth breathing. Or maybe they have mouth breathing because their incisors are too flared. That's a great case for sequential distalization. If it is a massive sliding back, sure, add elastics. It's only going to help. The studies, the other one I'm reading here, let's see, this is by, which research article is this? Progress in Orthodontics, Biomechanical Analysis of Effective Mandibular Unmasked Retraction Using Class 2 Elastics Clear Aligners, a Finite Element Study, published 11th July 2022. Conclusions, Class 2 elastics reduced tipping of anterior teeth but aggravated mesial tipping of posterior teeth. So here's the thing. Anytime you do, I like to tell people this, there's a lot of people just like to toss elastics on every case. Anytime you add an additional element of mechanics, there's going to be a side effect. So anytime you add elastics, and hopefully you're not doing this kind of, I just use this photo, but don't do this. Don't just stick it to the tooth for sure. Buttons. You're going to have weird things happen in the back, probably posterior open bite, weird tipping. It's going to make the case much harder to finish. So if you don't need the elastics, don't put them in. if you really, if the focus for whatever reason is for sure to make the overjet as tight as possible, okay, you can add them, but understanding that this case will probably need many refinements to finish and upright the teeth later. So just keep that in mind. It's not going to be 50, 60 aligners. It's going to be 100, 130 once it's all said and done. Remember, the most you can do is 99 per plan. You can finish that plan and do another refinement. You have that 5-year window for now. Do not be picking Invisalign 3 or moderate for these cases. You're insane. You'll never finish it. You'll end up paying way more than you did for the comprehensive. It's got to be comprehensive 5, unlimited refinement for 5 years, because these cases are going to be nightmares for you to finish. So anyways, that's all I wanted to say. All right, thanks so much. So if you want to use elastics, go for it. Proceed cautiously, realize what the side effects are. Let the patients know the initial Clin Check is not going to happen predictably. They will need many refinements. It'll be more like a 2 or 3 year case. Always side effects with elastics: extrusions, tipping, root resorption. Totally more risks, especially in perio patients. I would not recommend, especially in high angle patients. I would not recommend. It'll make them more high angle. But if it's a low angle case, sure. And young, no perio, go for it.